现在却被你们活生生的变成了地狱。
お願いします。どうかこの戦いを止めてください。
The story begins with Master Amano reflecting to himself. Amano is the leader of a secret Japanese group called the Destruction Group, whose sole goal is to dominate and defeat China. Not to mention, he also met a special operations officer, and the two of them devised a plan to defeat the Chinese Shaolin and all the kung fu masters within it. Then, the events move us to Karashi. Karashi is the strongest fighter in the Destruction Group because he started learning karate when he was only 3 years old, and he was able to demonstrate his incredible strength and speed during training. As soon as Karashi finished his exercise, Master Amano appeared, congratulated him on his efforts, and said that the time had come to challenge the Chinese Shaolin in a fight to prove that Japan is stronger than China and that karate is better than kung fu. So Karashi promised his teacher that he would give his utmost effort and would not rest until they won the war. At the same time, at the Shaolin school in China, there was a young man named Yang, training day and night. Yang is a young Chinese man who was kidnapped as a child by the Destruction Group and forced to fight against his will, but he managed to escape from them when he grew up and joined Shaolin. After Yang finished his training, the master entered and told him, "You must master controlling your anger because you could lose your focus in the midst of battle." Yang told him that he wants revenge on the Destruction Group by any means because they kidnapped him when he was young and ruined his childhood. At that time, a group of American soldiers were captured and taken prisoner by the Destruction Group. The soldiers' commander was Colonel Bill, and he and his men were transported by sea to a huge island. As soon as they reached the heart of the island, they discovered it was a huge fighting arena. A commander from the Destruction Group told the soldiers that each one of them must enter 3 fights to the death, and if they won, they would be freed from captivity. Colonel Bill got angry and called them animals for what they were doing. In the end, the colonel and the rest of the soldiers were imprisoned with the other captives, and they had no idea how they would get out. But suddenly, a giant fighter appeared. This fighter was affiliated with the Destruction Group, and his name was Bongo. Bongo insulted a Chinese man and said he would break every bone in his body in the arena because Japan is stronger than China. But as soon as the Chinese fighter defended himself, Bongo choked him and knocked him unconscious. From there, all the soldiers were moved to a large arena and met Karashi, the strongest fighter in the Destruction Group. Karashi offered the soldiers to join them in exchange for getting them out of prison, but Colonel Bill refused his request and said that the Destruction Group were inhuman animals and he would never cooperate with them. Karashi got angry and ordered them to be imprisoned again. Meanwhile, Yang prepared himself and decided to head to the Destruction Group's island to confront them and reclaim his rights. At this point, the Shaolin schoolmaster asked him to take precautions, as he would be facing ruthless, destructive fighters, and wished him luck on his journey. Indeed, Yang trained in secret kung fu techniques to eliminate anyone who stood in his way. But unfortunately, before he could begin his journey, he discovered that his master had passed away. He buried him in deep sorrow. Around this time, it is revealed that the Destruction Group had kidnapped a large group of young people to train them against their will and turn them into ruthless killers. Not to mention, Karashi kept yelling at them, saying that anyone who refused to train would be thrown into the sea. Here we learn that Yang had reached the island's shore, feeling enraged because he would finally get the chance to achieve his revenge. Indeed, Yang entered the heart of the island and stormed the arena fearlessly. However, he was surprised by Karashi and his followers. Here we discover that Yang and Karashi were once close friends, as they trained together in the Destruction Group when they were young, but Yang escaped after he grew up, and the two turned into enemies. At the end of their conversation, Yang decided to enter the arena to challenge Bongo, the giant fighter. Bongo then finished off a poor Chinese fighter to intimidate and frighten Yang. Yang took the Chinese man and handed him to the American soldiers to bury. After that, he composed himself and decided to face Bongo and take revenge for what he had done. The fight between Yang and Bongo began, and here we notice the tremendous size difference between them, as Bongo was a giant and very strong. Initially, Yang fought skillfully and was able to control Bongo easily due to his speed and mastery of kung fu. Not to mention, he grabbed him and struck him hard in front of everyone, causing him to bleed profusely. Naturally, Bongo was surprised and couldn't believe it, so he decided to resist until his last breath, but to no avail, because Yang caught him off guard and landed a decisive blow that completely destroyed him. However, he refused to kill him and let him live. But then, the despicable Bongo killed one of the captives, making Yang angry enough to want to kill him again. Yang returned, but this time, he showed no mercy to Bongo, beating him until he killed him. And thus, Yang won his first fight and got closer to facing Kurashi. Afterwards, he went to bury all the Chinese captives who had been treacherously killed and felt deep sadness. But as he was resting in his room, he was surprised by Iko. Iko is the daughter of Master Amano, the head of the destruction group, but she was kind-hearted and loved Yang. Not to mention, she was upset with him for killing and getting blood on his hands. Yang told her that violence is the only way to end conflicts, and that he must be strong to defeat his enemies. Yang went to Kurashi in the training yard and told him, "My match with you is near. Finally, I will reclaim my rights from the destruction group because they kidnapped me when I was young." Kurashi ordered a group of samurai warriors to engage him in a fight, but Yang is very skilled and was able to evade them with lightning speed, to the extent that Kurashi intervened and stopped the battle. He told Yang to enjoy his life, because after he finishes fighting him, he will be dead. And he broke an iron sword with his bare hand to show his true power and frighten Yang. From here, Kurashi ordered all his armies to prepare for war against the Chinese fighters. Not to mention, he took 3 American soldiers and ordered his followers to take them to a dark underground place. The 3 soldiers didn't understand what was happening, but suddenly, a figure appeared and snatched one of them, filling them with sheer terror. As they were preparing to fight, the hidden figure snatched the second one with lightning speed. Finally, the last soldier stood frozen in place from fear. At last, the mysterious figure appeared, and we learn that he is a mutant warrior with fangs and sharp claws. Meanwhile, Kurashi met with Yang and asked him to return to the destruction group, saying that if they united, they would dominate the world. Yang said he would never return, because the destruction group had kidnapped him and his brother when they were young. Unfortunately, his brother died during training, and since that time, he had made a vow to avenge him and reclaim his rights. As for the American soldiers, they were eating when they were shocked to find their friend dead from his fight with the mutant. They fought Kurashi's followers with all their might. Not to mention, an American soldier was hit with a hook and his condition became critical. Yang appeared at the last moment and stopped the fight. Afterwards, he felt sad because the soldier had lost his life and asked the guards who was the cause of all these problems. They told him about the mutant fighter. Indeed, Yang went underground to meet him. Here we learn his name is Mad Monkey. Yang told him, "I challenge you to a fight, because you have caused the death of many innocent people." Mad Monkey agreed and said he would finish him off soon. Then he disappeared into the darkness without a word. At night, Yang stood in the middle of the arena, and everyone gathered around him because his fight against Mad Monkey was about to begin. The reason the fight was at night was that Mad Monkey is afraid of light and fights only in the dark. From the beginning, Mad Monkey appeared suddenly and caught Yang off guard. Yang was surprised by the strength and speed of his opponent and his deadly strikes, as he is distinguished by sharp fangs and claws that can cut through anything in their path. But over time, Yang began to study his fighting style and managed to knock him down from the top of the stairs, landing ruthless blows on him. Mad Monkey regained consciousness, and the two continued the fight. The battle between them was legendary and lasted for long minutes. Not to mention, they went up to a high building, and Mad Monkey was about to throw Yang off it. Here we discover that one of Yang's friends had set up an ambush. He set the arena on fire to make Mad Monkey lose his focus, because he hates light. Yang seized the opportunity and attacked him with unparalleled ferocity until he drowned him in the water and finally won the battle. Naturally, Kurashi was furious and about to explode with rage. The next day, Yang went to bury the fallen soldiers and met Hanudi, the one who had set the fire and saved him during the fight. He thanked him profusely for his help, but unfortunately, the treacherous Kurashi had hung all the American soldiers and ordered Colonel Bill and his aide to fight Yang, threatening to kill them all if they didn't. Initially, Yang hesitated, but Colonel Bill and his aide attacked him because they wanted to save their friends from death. Here, Yang used his incredible kung fu skills and was able to easily subdue them. Then he delivered strikes faster than lightning that completely finished them off. Even Hanudi entered the arena and confirmed to Kurashi that they were dead. Kurashi was happy because he had forced Yang to kill his friends. However, after the battle was over, we learned that Yang hadn't killed them at all. He had struck their pressure points to make them lose consciousness and deceive Kurashi. While Kurashi was training by himself, Yang suddenly came to visit him and told him that the time for their battle was near. Kurashi asked him to train together one last time to remember the old days when they were friends. Here, Yang showed his true speed and abilities. Even though he was training with wooden dummies, he imagined them as real people in order to focus to the maximum. Finally, Yang finished his training. Kurashi congratulated him and said that their fight would be legendary and unparalleled. At the same time, Hanuti sneaked around and gave a map of the island to one of the captive soldiers so they could escape. But unfortunately, Hanuti was caught and handed over to Kurashi. Meanwhile, we learn that the map reached Colonel Bill and his companion, and they plan to launch a tremendous revolution and completely destroy the destruction group. Iko met Yang and asked him to escape because the place was about to descend into chaos. Yang told her that he had to fight to his last breath to save the captives and eliminate the corruption of the destruction group. Indeed, the soldiers freed themselves from captivity and mercilessly attacked Kurashi's followers. Not to mention, they stormed the training center and tried to rescue all the kidnapped children with Iko's help. Meanwhile, Yang met Kurashi in the middle of the arena and told him to get ready because the time for the final battle had come. Indeed, Kurashi and Yang prepared themselves and attacked each other with tremendous ferocity. Initially, they were evenly matched because their strength was similar and they had trained together since childhood. But over time, Kurashi began to dominate due to his massive size and superior strength. They fought on the rooftops of buildings, and Kurashi seized the opportunity to land a powerful blow on Yang, knocking him to the ground. But before Yang could give up, he remembered his little brother, who died because of the destruction group. He regained his strength and got back on his feet. Then, he and Kurashi struck each other at the same time, but Yang's blow landed on the heart, allowing him to win the battle. Before Kurashi died, he screamed that the destruction group could never lose. Then he fell from a great height and lost his life. When his followers saw him dead, they dropped their weapons and surrendered. The soldiers felt immense joy and celebrated Yang for finally being able to triumph and achieve his revenge against the destruction group.
And that concludes today's film. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell icon to stay updated. Share your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for the next summary. Goodbye.